Games today with me for Little Rock, Orange, in the Seas. Up with and somewhat the committee. I think it's important to study the committee that's going to pick the teams. Um, Alabama has Greg Byrne and of course Martin Newton, which helps them some. Keith Gill from the Sun Belt is the chairman of the committee, and there are 12 people on the committee. For those people that don't know all that, and a lot of them are from smaller leagues. I think the only one from the Big Ten is from Minnesota. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see the argument as to whether Auburn will get in, Miami of Ohio get in, and those kinds of things. What you have to do is understand that the night that you play, when I walk in, the night that you play is a championship game. It's not Saturday or Sunday. It's the night you play. And you've got to beat the teams you're supposed to beat, and you've got to be mentally ready to play. You can't judge people by the way they played in the round robin. Alabama's playing an Ole Miss team that's 4-14, 14-19 overall. Has not had a very good year. Had two terrific games. Played hard. Played well. They're good. They're well coached. They'll try to keep the basketball in the 70s. A game in the 70s. They'll try to control the game with their offense, basically, probably, and they're pretty good defensively. So, even though you're playing somebody, if I had to tell you, I think I even told you this, that they'll probably be playing Texas or Georgia today, and they're playing neither one. That's a game I start off on because that's what all your listeners want to hear. So it will be a win for Alabama if they are mentally ready to play. They got a good coach. They got better players than Ole Miss, and those kinds of things. But you can't look ahead to who you're going to play next. The most important thing is you understand that Ole Miss can beat you if you don't play.
Coach, I want to ask you about Auburn. Do you believe Auburn has done enough on their resume to be worthy of an NCAA selection bid on Sunday?
Well, I think they're close, and I'm not answering the question very well. They got ahead yesterday, and let me explain something to some of our daddies or coaching teams.
Okay.
Nate got hot, and Nate got 27 points. And when you look at the five total of the five players that played and started for Auburn, they got 27 points. If a guy is hurting you really bad, or if you're going to go into the game against Arkansas, you try to guard guys before they get the ball. You turn your back on the ball and try to guard. You try to defend the ball, those players, if they're killing you at the halftime, and keep them from getting the ball and try to take their legs out from under them. You don't try to guard them after they get it. You got to get over the screen, switch the screens, or do whatever you need to do. And so many times, I think you try to guard the guy after he gets the ball. Now, is he going to get it some? Sure. Is he going to score some? Sure. But you cut down on that, and I think I'm not answering that question, but I think that's important. That's what happened to Auburn yesterday. They did a poor job on guarding Nate. He got 27 points. I don't know if they're. I would like to see Miami of Ohio go. I lost on the last shot at Little Rock, and they kept me out. And I think Auburn, beating St. John's and beating Florida is two big wins. And didn't y'all say they were ranked number 5 in strength of schedule? Is that what y'all said?
They were. You're talking about Auburn, right?
Yeah.
They're between 3 and 5, depending on which, obviously, data points you're looking at. But yes, Coach, they're top 5.
Well, I would think with strength of schedule they get in. They may both get in. I have no idea. I'm not very good at that. I went 10 times out of 12 years, and I was mad about every time I went because I didn't like where I went. And y'all don't know idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's not me, really. But I was mad. The last time they sent my Fanny all the way to California.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know. I'd answer your question by saying I think they have a great chance to get in. I don't know that they will, but I think they have a great chance to get in. I don't know. They've got to. We just got to wait and see. Oklahoma, I think, is playing. Porter's team is playing much better. I think there's a good chance that Porter now will be Arkansas. When you get on A-Cuff, you guard A-Cuff without the ball. You put somebody with long arms. When I had somebody that needed to defend, I put somebody like Keith Atkins, somebody on them that had long arms and good feet. You don't put small guys on small guys, but provided that your big guy is quick enough, and smart enough, and has some kind of reach to affect the shooter. So you do everything you possibly can to cut down on the number of times they catch the ball. The last time I looked, nobody could score without the ball. So I think that's big. What else?
Coach Wimp Sanderson joining us courtesy of Craneworks and joining us on the Higginbotham hotline. Going back to Auburn just really quick, and we know they didn't defend and guard very well. I hate to be critical of individual guys, but they're getting paid and it's fair. When you look at this team, just personnel-wise, Coach, if you were Stephen Pearl, let's just say the season is over, you're looking to rebuild that roster or totally flip that roster, where are you starting?
Well, I'm starting where I can find out where there are good players that may want to transfer over in the transfer portal. I go to the transfer portal and try to get guys I feel I can play. And this brings up the other thing that y'all talked about yesterday. I don't think that I think if you go to and scout a team to look at the player, it's totally 100% illegal to say something to the manager to tell the player that you're there. Any words that you say, my opinion is, if you do that and you knock these lower teams out because they worked their butts off and they found a player that could really play and you saw him and you didn't like him, they got him. I think the conference office ought to fine you $1 million. And by fining you $1 million, you stop that crap because you want that money for the NIL. So if you want to go and evaluate a guy, I'm going away from your subject too. But if you want to go and evaluate a guy, fine. Keep your mouth shut, buy your popcorn, and watch the game. Decide whether if the guy gets in the transfer portal, you want him. But as far as saying anything to him, no.
Okay, good. Well, I thought that, and I didn't know, and I was going to ask you that question because I didn't. Okay, I wouldn't have a problem with it. Yeah, going and watching, but you have interaction with a player before a game. That seems like that's totally out of bounds.
Well, Dabo is suing, turning in Ole Miss because they sent something to a football player when he was in class, asking how much he was making, and they got a big stink about that. Some weeks ago in football, they tried to find out what Ole Miss had done. They had gone in there and tried to find out how much the kid was making, so they could see if they could get their agents to do something. So. You don't go and talk to anybody. I can't stop either one of you from going to a game and buying a ticket and look to your offensive staff and saying, we love this guy, we want to try to get him. But as far as going and talking to somebody at a game, you find these booger bears $1 million, they'll shut up. And I think it's $1 million fine personally, and maybe that's people don't think that, but anyway. I ain't really caring what people think. I think that's that's to me is 4 games today. Florida's really good. Their guards did not shoot the basketball well at the beginning of the year. They don't have the guard shooting that they have had when they won the national championship. Does not mean they can't win the national championship. Their big guys play their fannies off. They are very good. Guess what? Good players who play hard win games, and they play hard. Tennessee and Vanderbilt, anybody's game. Rick's got a good team. They'll shoot threes. Vanderbilt has played better than you thought. Vanderbilt beat them the last time. Should be a big crowd in there. I wish I was up there today to see it, but I don't know who's going to win that game. Won't argue that one. Ole Miss and Alabama. Alabama wins if they are ready to play mentally. Alabama's better defensively, not defensively, but offensively. Ole Miss will try to keep the game in the 70s as best they possibly can. They'll try to keep the basketball on offense and get the game a little bit shorter than normal. And in Oklahoma and Arkansas, don't totally be shocked if Oklahoma beats them. If they keep A-Cuff from scoring a lot of points, I would think that Oklahoma would have a decent chance. Firing as far as who's going to get fired in the league, y'all ask that. I don't know. Probably at South Carolina, maybe. I don't know about LSU. Porter's situation is that they have a new athletic director.
Right.
And when you have a new athletic director come in, you never know exactly what's going to happen. I had a new one come in one time. So anyway, you see.
Yes.
What else?
That's it. No, Porter Moser's name, Coach, is being mentioned for Providence and also for Arizona State. But I got to meet him last year at the Final Four, and he's like you. He's like you. He looks so mean, and then he's just a nice teddy bear when you get to talk to him.
Yeah. Well, he got to the Final Four one time when he went to Chicago. He's been around a great deal. We hired him in Little Rock when I guess he worked for me 1 year or 2 years maybe there. So anyway, Crane Works brings me to all these folks, and I appreciate David and what they do for people as far as building up or tearing down anything that they need to get involved with. They do a great job with it. They do a great job with rental works. Their rental equipment is top notch. And if you're dumb like I am, and I say this every time, they bring an operator with them to help you do the work on renting something to do something you want to do. Birmingham, Mobile, now Huntsville, as big as they are, and all the places in the state of Alabama, Crane Works will show up and do everything that you need them to do. That's my thought for today, guys.
All right, as Big Blue Nation, Kentucky takes the court. I'm just going to think about that memory I have of the story of you and Adolph Rupp in the back of that Buick.
Yeah, I looked up and I said, Coach. He said, what? I said, pull the car over. He said, why? I said, Coach Rupp's in my lap.
Oh, Coach, you are
Later.
a national treasure.
I was 21 years old, 22. I was a young guy.
Coach,
yeah.
We love you. See you.
Later.
All right.
Bye.
Wimp Sanderson, courtesy of our friends at Crane Works on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham's your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services. What the coach has said, some very interesting thoughts concerning the tournament. We'll discuss next on Three Man Front. 10:51, three-man front on this Friday. First tip of the day, Kentucky and Florida getting set there in Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. Meanwhile, out of the Big 12 tournament, we talked about that. Leading into the tournament, it was not more about the tournament, but more about the LED glass court that they were using. Well, Commissioner Brett Yormark, back to the drawing board. Additional revenue stream. He thought, well, that company probably paid a lot of money for that LED court. Well, it turns out that there were problems with the court. Quote, Brett Yormark, after consultation with the coaches of our 4 semifinal teams, I decided that in order to provide our student athletes with the greatest level of comfort on a huge stage this weekend, we'll transition to a hardwood court for the remainder of the tournament.
Yes.
Slippage, player safety has been, I still contend that it's an ugly court and it's too distracting for the players, but maybe slippery too.
You got players getting migraines.
So regular court.
Good move, Brett.
For the semifinals and the finals.
Well, with flu season hanging around and pollen season coming, make your home cleaner with Trane's Clean Effects Home Air Cleaner. It removes up to 99.9% of airborne particles that cause allergy and virus. It's 100 times more effective than standard air filters and 8 times more effective than HEPA room filters. So go and find a dealer near you at Trane.com.
We do have the SEC tipping off, as I mentioned, Florida taking on Kentucky. We just heard Coach Wimp Sanderson giving his thoughts on the tournament and beyond. Still thinks that Auburn has got a okay shot, according to him, what he thinks. It's anybody's guess right now, but I think that Auburn had their shot yesterday, and they look good for a little over a half of basketball. But the 22-2 run by Tennessee ultimately doomed the Tigers.
So do you buy into the belief that, because I saw this, a lot of people, and people that cover college basketball as well as, just fans yesterday, look, the committee has a job to do, and their job is to identify the 68 best teams or, the 30 whatever at-large teams that deserve to be in the tournament. But do you buy into the belief at all that maybe Auburn gets a little assistance from the simple fact that I think a lot of people would want to see Auburn and Miami, Ohio in a first 4 type matchup? And I mean, it's a TV event.
It is a TV event. I can buy into that narrative.
No one would ever say it publicly.
No. Again, I go back. I hate to be so critical, but it is what it is. Those people that want to see that matchup, have they watched this Auburn team play lately?
And I think that's a very fair point. I think more so just from the
I understand from the entertainment angle,
correct.
But I think there's some other teams that may be on that bubble playing equal to. It's so tough. It's a weak bubble.
So if you're an Auburn fan today, you're hoping Arkansas just blows the brakes off of Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
25-point win. Knock Oklahoma down a peg or two, and then you're right back up there at the top of the bubble on the outside looking.
It's with this Auburn team and looking at it and how it progressed through the years or through the year, this season. But we saw the matchup with Michigan. They got the doors blown off, exposed their weaknesses. We saw what happened against Arizona. A lot of teams that they faced similar fates when facing those two teams. But then you go to Florida. So looking at this team, this team at one point, and I don't know if it was they still had that swagger about them, maybe carrying over from what last year's team did and believing we're expected to be good and playing up to that level. Was it a combination of warts getting exposed, me guys rising to the surface and becoming selfish, dysfunction? I'd love to know what happened with that Auburn team.
Think about this. At one point in January, both Alabama and Auburn had the exact same record. They were both 14-7. And they've gone in completely opposite directions.
Yes, they have. Tournament's about to tip off across this great land of ours. We'll keep you updated. Also, UAB in action just down the road. The semifinals, they'll take on Charlotte. Three-man front continues on this Friday.